Hi, hello, welcome and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time joining us in this channel, my name is Mboyi. I am a nurse. I practice adult nursing in the United Kingdom. In this channel, we talk about migration, traveling, nursing, and everything else. So, for the past few days or a week or two, we have been looking into English proficiency tests that are allowed by the Immigrations Office of United Kingdom for professionals to come and work in UK. So I thought maybe because we have now been able to see how it's structured and the time it takes to complete the test, now we can look into individual modules, how to go about them. Today we will be talking about OET. I will share my experience and tips or strategies that I used with my friend to pass OET. So we are going to look into listening. So let's get into listening. During the test day, listening module might be the first one or it might be the last one before you do speaking. So it doesn't matter really. But the tips that I'm going to offer you are not definite, and you can use them to model your own style, or you can use them together with other tips. Don't just rely on these ones because people are different. We are all individuals. What worked for me might not work for you. So please, this is based on my experience, and let's just do our own research coupled with advices and the tips that come along. So let's get into listening. During the test day, the test center, I would always recommend Durban because I found Durban's test center for OET very quiet, very isolated, and there is less noise and distractors there. But you can choose your own center where you want to do your OET, but I will always choose Durban for, like, it was it was so calming. For those that have been to Durban Test Center, please comment below and tell me how was your experiences. Anyway, tip number one, just know that listening module, the tape is played once and once only. So this brings me to our first tip of the day. Do not rewind the tape. When you practice, do not rewind. If you missed anything, let it pass and move on. That is why you need to practice every now and then until the test day. So that's number one. Do not rewind the tape. Number two, buy headphones. If you don't have headphones, or you don't have earpiece or earbuds or whatever, go buy headphones. I would encourage you to buy the big ones, like the DJ big ones, because those are similar to the ones that they use at the test center. But if you don't have them, use your earphones that you have that you came with your phone, or you can even use the earbuds, like the same ones as this ones. I don't know. Yeah, you can use the earbuds, but make sure that you use the headphones for practicing. What did I do myself to pass this module? Well, before I went for my exam, because I practiced for a month, solidly for a month, so I would do listening and reading every day for a month before the test day, and I did writing and speaking the last week when we were left with only 1 week for me to go and write. So this can be the strategy you would use, but please identify your weak points and your strength. For me, I am a morning person, so I can wake up as early as 4 and do things, but you cannot force me to do things in the afternoon. Like, I'll be very pissed at you. I don't like doing things in the afternoon, but I can wake up as early as 4, get a bath, and then get into the day's business. So what I would do personally, I would wake up at 5. I was working in a rural area where the clinic services start at about 8, normal time for the government, but mostly we would start at 9 because the villagers were coming from afar, so they they delayed to arrive at the clinic. So you'll find that we start work at around 9. So I would wake up at 5 in the morning and then start my day with listening. I did listening in the morning at 5, then start preparing for work at 6. And then during lunchtime at work, my 1 hour was dedicated to listening. I'll do another test during the lunch hour, and then I'll do the last test before I go to bed. This means I did 3 tests every day. 3 tests every day. This for a month. Like every day. Every day. The only exceptional days is when my friend was there, because we would do more other things to accommodate the whole test. But when I was alone, I would do 3 tests every day of listening module. So you can just take this strategy, use it, and see if it's working for you. If you are not a morning person, don't force it, please. If you are not a morning person, don't force it. But I would encourage you that the lunch hour at work, use that lunch hour for your own benefit. See whichever way. Either you read through the tips or you do the actual test during the lunch hour. And before you go to bed, do something. Don't just go to bed, because OET is very expensive compared to IELTS, and we are planning to do this to pass, first sitting. So that's what I did with how I practiced. Now, okay, listening in total has 42 questions. So part A has 20 questions, and part B 6, part C 6. So when you practice, please aim to get all 20 questions right in part A. This means you will have to learn how to identify where the questions or the answers will be coming from. Like when the tape is playing, go through the question paper. You are going to be given a chance to go through the heading, and they will give you overview. And during this overview, how do I put this? You have to learn how to double task. Yeah. I think that's the word, double task. Listen to what the introduction is saying, and then go through the questions. There are headings that will be able to guide you where the answers will be coming from. You see what I mean? Yeah. Listening has about listening part A, it has 20 questions, and those 20 questions, please aim to get them all correct. If you find the listening test to be difficult, aim to get at least 17 of those questions correct, because it will give you less marks to focus on for part B and for part C. But you should aim to get at least all questions correct in part A, because it gains you more marks, and it's the easiest part of the whole listening module. So please, let us aim to get all part A correct. If not, aim for 17 marks. The listening module has about 42 questions, and in those 42 questions, you need to score 29 for you to pass. So we are aiming at 30 at least. So when you aim at 30, this means you will have to make sure that you aim for 20 in part A, and then for 5 in part B, and 5 in part C. If you do that, you are at the pass margin, the pass mark margin. Pass mark is actually 29, if I'm not mistaken, and at least when you pass, you get 30 marks, you are sure that you have passed this module. So that's what we would do with my friend. that we are aiming to get all 20 marks for part A, and then 5 for part B, 5 for part C. But if it is really difficult, you need to at least aim for 17 in part A, 6 in part B, 6 in part C. So let's just aim at getting all 20 for part A. This gets me to the next tip. Please, when you do listening the last week before you go for your exams, at least every morning or any other day of any other time of the day, please practice part A. Practice part A because it carries more marks. Okay guys, OET, like I said, is for health professionals, right? So when you tackle or when you are taking this test, focus on answering questions. Do not translate the answers or the clips or the information that you are given. Like, don't bring the information at the test center to reality, right? This is because at some point when you are listening to a clip, because we are doing a listening module, like we said, it's going to be a patient or a client with a health professional. It's a consultation situationship. So now, for example, let's say this patient is saying, oh, hello doctor, I have been here because I think my partner has infected me with hypertension, right? And then the question says, what did the patient say the boyfriend infected her with? You, as a health professional, you know that hypertension is not sexually transmitted, right? Yes. But that's what the patient said in the clip. Meaning, what you need to put down there is not the fact, but it's what you heard. Am I making sense? Yes. So don't bring your emotions in the exam date, in the exam room. Listen to the audio, read the question, and put the answer, what you have heard. Don't translate the content, please, because we don't know who are making these clips. Are they health professionals? Yes. Are they health professionals? No. Are they not? So we really don't know. Are they actors? Maybe. So what you have to do is to listen, read the question, answer the question. Do not translate. Don't translate. Do not translate. Okay, in conclusion for listening module, please go back to my previous video. Know which types of questions are meant for part A, for part B, and for part C. You'll be able to follow through the dialogue, the monologue, and everything else, and you will be able to answer questions. But the questions that come in part A, just know that part A is a dialogue. There is a health professional and there is a patient. It can be a doctor, it can be a nurse, it can be a social worker, it can be a physiotherapist, but there is a patient and a health professional for part A. So it's a dialogue. So when you listen for part A, just know that it's a dialogue and you need to identify where the answers are coming from, who the answers are going to be coming from. So there will be headings And as you read the heading, it will guide you as to who to listen to mostly, because the answers to this particular question are going to come from this particular person. And there are slightly, with listening, if you see bold, like highlighted bold or underlined something, it's a keyword and it says listen for this. If it's highlighted or it's in bold or in italic form, just know that whoever is going to mention this word, my answer is going to come from them. If the heading says signs and symptoms, you know that the patient or is going to mention the signs and symptoms, or the professional will be explaining the signs and symptoms to the patient. So this brings me to my other tip: learn to identify nouns, pronouns, verbs, proverbs, because those will help you to identify keywords on who is going to provide you with answers on the clip. Okay? Yeah. So learn those. Just go to primary level and learn pronouns, nouns, keywords, synonyms, and everything, because you might hear something in the clip and then it's paraphrased on the question. So paraphrasing is synonyms. It could be synonyms. No, paraphrasing is paraphrasing. Synonym is a synonym. But if you hear something in your ear and then it's paraphrased on the question, you'll be able to identify that, okay, the answer will come from this person. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video thus far. I think in the next one I'll be talking about reading, so let's stay tuned, practice more, and don't forget to subscribe, like, share the content with others. I'll see you next time. Bye.